Okay, what we're going to do in this presentation is work through the Square program and then the Square runner. So the first thing I want to do, is get into Dr. Java. I'm going to go to File, and I want a new Java class. I'm going to enter the name Square. I want it to be public, and I want to have a main, I don't want to have a main method. I want a class constructor. And this will make my life a little bit easier. All right, now I'm going to take out some of this, and I'm going to let you put in so you want to make sure you put in the header before you finish. All right, so public class Square, the name should be capitalized, and I'm going to do this by my preference of having that having the open brace on the far outside, so I can then see is it lined up with the ending bracket. I'm now going to save this, and I'm now going to put this in day 2. I'm going to make a new folder for it. SQR. Since I already have a Square, and so I'll save that. So the name of the file, if you look up here, square.java, this name and the name of the program are the same. Now, the first thing I want to do is add an instance variable. And that's going to be for the data that I pass in. It is going to be declared private. It is going to be a double, and it's going to be called side. All right, private is going to be its effectively visibility. Private means it's only visible inside this program, but declaring it at the top is going to make it available to all methods and all inside the program. All right, I'm going to move that down, and I'm going to hit a return here. This is my constructor. And the purpose of the constructor is to pass variables in to give values to the instance variables. So if you think about a square, for all intents and purposes, all I really need to define a square is to tell it what size the side is. So I'm going to declare that I'm going to pass in a double, and I'm going to call it S. And I'm doing this because I find this easier. So I type in side equals S, and what that says is S is the parameter that I'm passing in. This S and this S are the same, and this equal sign is an assignment. This says, going from right to left, assign whatever value S has, assign that same value to side. And so now the instance variable for the side of a square has been sent in. So I've now done the construction part. Now I need a method to find the area. So So public says that it's available everywhere. This means that I can get to it outside of this particular program. And we'll see that when we use the runner. Double says, what am I going to pass back to the user? The name of the method is getArea. This is empty because I'm not passing anything into the getArea method. Now I'm going to do this the long way. All right, so again, I'm telling you what kind of a variable I am declaring. I'm declaring a name, area, and then I'm saying how do I calculate area. Side is the instance variable, so that once I've run the constructor, then side has a value. Because it's declared as an instance variable, it's available throughout the program. So now whatever value I passed in gets multiplied by itself and stored in the variable area, and then that gets passed back. And now I'm finished. That's it. That's the entire program. So I have a class name, I have an instance variable, I have a constructor that supplies a numeric value for the instance variable, and then I have public double getArea. I have a method to calculate the area. So I want to save that, and then I'm going to compile it. And because I put semicolons at the end of everything and all of my capitalization was correct, life is good. Now what we're going to do is run a new class. I'm going to call this SquareRunner. And notice that, again, because it's a class name, it starts with a capital, but because it's two words, the second word also starts with a capital letter. This is called camel casing, and it makes it supposedly easier to read. Again, this is going to be a public class, and in this case I want a main method. A main method makes this a runnable program. If I tried to run, as we will in a second here, save, and we'll save that. If I come back to the Java program, it compiled fine, but if I click run, it says this class does not have a static void main method accepting string. If it doesn't, it can't run. So what I'm going to do is use this program as my runner. And so I now feel better. All right, so what I need to do, I need to instantiate an example or an instance of a square. So what I'm going to do is say square S1 equals new, and let's give it a side length of 2. All right, remember that, let's go back a second, I'm going to save that. Remember I said what kind of variable is area? It is a double type, and this is what it is equal to. In this case, I'm constructing a square. It's my variable type. Its name is S1, and it is a new square, and the side length is 2, and I need to put in a semicolon. And this will compile. Now what I want to do is say all right, now by saying double area equals S1.getArea, S1 is the instance of a square whose side is 2. So this constructed a square of side 2. And now what this does is calls the getArea method for square S1, and it stores it in something called area. Let's actually call this area 1 because I'm going to have a second one in a moment. And now what I can do is print that out. All right, so system.out.println says I'm going to print, and it's going to end up down here, and it should tell me the area of square S1 is. This is text, and it's inside, just like hello world was inside quotes. And now what I'm going to do with this plus sign, it says concatenate, put that together with the value of area 1. So let's see if I did all my typing correctly. All right, it compiles, and now I run it. And it says the area of square S1 is 4. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. Life is good. All right, now, as you will find, I'm incredibly lazy. So I'm going to highlight, I'm going to edit, copy, and I'm going to edit, paste. And if I try to compile this, it's going to tell me I've already declared S1. So what I'm going to do is now have S2, and I'm going to give it a side length of 3. I'm going to call that 2, that 2, and that 2. So notice that for square S2, I have area 2, and so now if I compile and run this, all right, that's because I do that all the time. I forgot to put a 2 in there. Let's try again. All right, so area of S1 is still 4. The area of square S2 is 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. So in order to instantiate a new square, this is my class name, which is also my variable type. This is my variable name. I am making a new. This says make a new one. Here is my constructor, the class name, and the instance variable getting passed in. So 3 is the length of the side. I now say I want a new variable called area 2. It is of type double. And this says I want to take the instance S2, a kind of square, and I want to get its area. What I end up doing is taking the area of square S2, putting it into area 2, and printing it out, and there it is. And I can do this for as many squares as I want. I mean, I could do 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, and 12. Okay? So now I've got a new square S12 is, all right, so I've said square S12 equals new square with side length of 12, area 12, S12 dot area, etc. So now we compile that and run it, and sure enough, 12 times 12 is 144. So there you go. We wrote our square. We have a public class name. We have the instance variable. This is the data that I will pass in, and the piece of data that describes a square is the side. I now have the constructor, so when I call new square, it says, oh, use this constructor. And it assigns whatever number I pass in gets assigned to the variable side. And then I have my method that says side times side is area. And because this has a return type of double, and these guys are double, life is good, it gets passed back. And there you go. You have the new square, and then we have our runner program, and the runner contains the main. Without the public static void main, string args, etc., if I don't have one of those, I'm not going to do anything. So many times when we write programs, we'll also be writing a runner at the same time. Okay, there we go.